everyone, welcome to another motovlog on my channel. My name is Marshall3498 and today's motovlog is going to be motorcycle specific as it usually is on my channel. In today's motovlog, what I'd like to talk about is the 2022 and up, this third generation KLR, or even the second gen, but really the third gen is really what I want to focus on today. A good beginner bike or a good adventure bike, especially for somebody like me who's either a beginner, for somebody like me especially that's a beginner at ADV riding and off-road riding and gravel riding and all that stuff, that has always been a street rider. I've been a street rider now for this is my 7th riding season. In 2023 year it'll be my 8th riding season, so I wouldn't call myself super experienced and a veteran, but I'm definitely not I guess I would be considered like medium, not a novice, but medium, whatever that right wording would be. Intermediate maybe. So I've ridden lots of different bikes, test rode lots of different bikes, so I have a decent overall way different bikes feel. I've probably ridden in all the the motovlog stuff that you send on my channel to just test out different bikes, see what I like. I probably test rode in my 7 years probably 30 different motorcycles, including the ones I own. So what is the main thing that I think that makes the Gen 3 and up model year, 2022 and up model year KLR 650 a good beginner adventure bike, or a good beginner bike as a whole, is one, the price point. This bike that I'm riding is a Traveler, the mid-tier edition, and it depended on your price point. You're looking at about before taxes and dealer prep and all that stuff, just a bike by itself, because all that stuff varies and taxes vary too, but just a bike itself, a little over $7,000. When you compare that to the Tenere, if you could even find one at a claimed actual retail at $10,000, that's a $3,000 difference before adding anything different. And that difference doesn't sound like a lot, but basically it's almost half of what this bike cost. And these days a brand new one, if you could find one, are going for 12 or 13, so we're talking almost double at that point, kind of prices, because you can't find one. But the KLR is just, it's what a lot of people say like about GS and stuff. It does everything well. It doesn't do great at anything. It has enough power to get out on the interstate for a short stint. I'd say 30 to 45 minutes would be about all you want to do interstate speeds on this bike for. When I say interstate speeds, I mean 70 miles an hour to 80, that kind of interstate speeds. And it does that fine, and it has enough power to do that. The wind management is pretty good overall, and the vibration, it gets a little vibey, but it's not awful. But what do you expect for a single cylinder motorcycle like mine? Either the base model or the Traveler or the other one. The Traveler only comes in ABS, but what makes it another good thing about the bike, that I said it's good at most things, is you can get it with ABS. And for somebody who uses this bike as an 80% on-road, 20% off-road, that's a good thing, because it makes a big safety difference on the street. And off-road, that's a totally different thing, and I'm not going to get into that today, because that argument can go either way, either side. But the bike, it's just it just works. It has decent power, it has decent brakes, it rides good, it's comfortable, it gets I'm getting on mine in the US, the way I ride it, I'm getting high 50s, low 60s miles per gallon, maybe 52 at the least, which is good for what the bike is. I mean, the bike has a 6-gallon gas tank. Several times on this bike, just testing out the gas mileage as it breaks in a little bit, because now mine has like 650 miles on it, and I've not really seen a difference between break-in gas mileage and now. Probably the break-in was probably a little better because that was a little easier on it then, so maybe just a little bit less now that it's broken in. But you know, the bike, it weighs 450 ish, say 465, somewhere in there. So it's not super heavy, and it's not super tall. The stock seat height's 34 inches with a stock seat. I have the lowered seat on mine, and at 5'10" with just a 32-inch inseam, I can flat foot mine with the low seat, with having a little bit of bent knee. Which is something a lot of people worry about, because you start riding off-road, the trail or gravel, it may be canted to one side, it may be going uphill, downhill, and that makes a little bit of difference as far as being able to have that security blanket, for lack of a better term. But the bike, I would say you're going to be keeping up with sport bikes as far as lean angle goes, but it's got enough lean angle that if you drag the peg fillers on this, you're way down there. So and it's fairly applicable back and forth, actually. I found myself on this bike compared to my Yamaha FJR 1300 2016 model. I found myself actually riding the back roads on this a little faster, because the power is so much lower than what I'm used to, compared to my FJR, that you just find yourself just kind of teetered along, and playing with the power, going up and down with gears, and up and down with the motor, and you find yourself like, oh, I'm doing faster than what I thought, maybe I should slow down. And like I said, the bike's fun. I commute on mine. Mine's a Traveler, so it has the top box, which you may be able to see if I do that a little bit behind me in the B camera. But not all these come with that, but you can add it to it. You got a USB port on this side, and regular cigarette lighter plug on the other side, so you can charge phone, charge GPS. The bike has an internal relay underneath the gas tank already set up from Kawasaki to run heated grips and be completely factory fused and on relay and all that stuff. And it's just a fun little bike to ride around. And like I said, it does everything okay. It's not great at anything, but it's a fun bike to ride around. And it just yes, Kawasaki could have done it a lot better. They could have put a 6th gear on this bike, and that would have really helped interstate speeds. And but that's not what this bike's designed for. It's designed for roads like this, the occasional interstate run, just to kind of speed up your trip a little bit, and to go on gravel roads and stuff. And the bike, although I've not had it off-road yet, what a lot of people say is, because I don't have drop protection on mine yet, a lot of people say the bike does really well off-road. It's very predictable. The power is not 42 horsepower. You're not going to spin the back wheel on accident, and get yourself in trouble and get all loose in the gravel. And as long as you just kind of behave and let the bike do its thing, yeah, I know from watching first time riding off-road and gravel stuff, I know the bike's gonna wiggle around a little bit, and it's gonna kind of dance around, but just let the bike do its thing, don't freak out, and it'll be fine. That's what they say anyway. But like I said, it's the price point that gets this bike the most credit for what it can do. And you got an LED front headlight from the factory. Yeah, you kind of got dorky turn signals front and rear, and a kind of meh brake light. But it's a price point. It's at. What do you expect? You can't get everything. You can't expect $20,000 GS bells and whistles for over 7,000. It's just not the way stuff works these days, unfortunately. So on that, guys, if you have any comments, questions, leave them down below. Comments, I'll be more than happy to help you, or help you out with your buying decision, or whatever you want to know about the bike in particular. And do I regret buying this bike? Absolutely not. It's been great, and I continue to like it every time and every more mile I put on it. So on that, guys, ride safe and have fun. We'll see you on next one. See ya.